It's a very good morning. Welcome to Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Barija. I'm very delighted that you're part of today's edition. Going to be driving you through all the way at exactly 9:45 to 9:50. That is well, like I always say, there is quite so many amazing things that are happening. Of course, the recent aspect that has been making quite a lot of news all along the globe is the inauguration of Donald Trump. And of course, the anticipations are all, we don't know whether the anticipations actually yet to happen because that's the biggest threat that majority of the entire world is actually afraid about, most especially when it comes to the tariffs that are going to be imposed. What will that mean for the global economy for the year 2025? And of course, we shall be taking a look into further aspects into that. But before I proceed any further, let's first of all take a look at what's making headlines within the local press. I do have the new vision on the Daily Monitor, and of course, let's first review the Daily Monitor. Now, of course, we see the Trump cards as a few of the President Donald Trump's executive orders have a direct implication on Uganda, especially in the health sector, funding homosexuality, and also climate change. Now, of course, it had something to do with the United States of America withdrawing from the World Health Organization. But of course, what does that really mean for countries like Uganda that have been largely surviving, most especially when it comes to the funding of the given medicines, the vaccines that are provided? Because the United States of America is one of the biggest funders of the World Health Organization. So what does that kind of a tragedy, what does it really mean? And of course, we see that some of the executive orders have a direct implication on Uganda, especially in the health sector sector funding, homosexuality, and also the climate change. And of course, a part of the orders have all been listed here on the front page of the Daily Monitor. Of course, the withdrawal of the United States from the World Health Organization will have an impact on the health funding for many countries. Talking about immigrants, whereby while Uganda allows Trump on tough immigration policy, analysts definitely think this will cut down the revenue sent back home by those entering the United States every year, that is to work. So let us see how that really comes about. And the Energy Ministry welcomed Trump's push to drill oil, which they say demonstrates that oil and gas can actually be extracted sustainably, but environmentalists said it would be disastrous. Remember, actually, he's one of the people that don't really believe in the whole discussion of the climate change. So, yeah, of course, he has his own reasons. He's not somebody that can easily jump onto any trend, but he's very critical, analytical in all perspectives. Now, switching in further, red flags in the 200 billion record deal with government. Now, the Auditor General criticized the government bypassing the parliamentary approval and its premature acquisition of the shares in Rocket Construction. So there is further details all entailed in that. And of course, Dr. Olila's final moments have all been also put up close. The renowned ear, nose, and throat specialist was actually killed by unknown assailants. This was on January 18th. Very absurd for the nation to lose such a great talent right there. And then the arts teachers give government 90 days of a pay rise. So what are they going to do? Remember, in July 2022, the government actually approved a salary increment for the science teachers. The pay of those with a degree increased from about 1.2 million Ugandan shillings to about 4 million per month. So how was that? Of course, when we do the evaluation, the follow-up, you realize that nothing really much was executed according to the promises by the government. Now, the fear of the unknown as Trump's second term begins. Now, the executive orders that have piqued an interest include those on the suspension of the aid for 90 days, the withdrawal of the United States from the Paris Climate Agreement, and the suspension of immigration. He has this policy that it's America first, then the world comes in. So all the policies, in his own belief, he believes that it is about making America great again. Now, how the new immigration policy will affect Uganda, a lot has been also highlighted there. And there is actually a question here about will Trump's anti-gay stance save Uganda from sanctions? You know, because he's against the homosexuality. And our president here in Uganda is also into the same aspect. Now, how government 16 trillion Ugandan shillings for the Q3 will be shared. The finance ministry says that the Q3 expenditure limits the financial year 2024-2025 were derived from the quarterly work plans and procurement plans from the MDAs and taking into consideration the project resources inflows. So all that has been put into consideration. For that, grab yourself a Daily Monitor to get the further details of the report. Now, what's at stake as Trump new era bites the health sector? Now, the United States of America is one of the ground members of the organization, and actually it is one of the largest funders, providing about 20% of funds for the World Health Organization operations. Now, the organization annual budget is actually about $6.8 billion. So that's quite a huge figure if you're to look at it that way. Okay, now proceeding along, commuter fares capped food train service costs. That's according to the report. Now, during the period ended June, Uganda Railways Corporation failed to meet the targets under commuter and cargo freight services. So what does that really mean? Let's wait and see. Now, about 9.2% during the period ended June 2024, the Uganda Railway Corporation registered a 9.2%, and that is the expansion loss. So, well, that's known to, because we're talking about reviving the SGR and seeing how it can link the different parts of the, Uganda to Tanzania, to Kenya effectively. Now, how Uganda used the International Monetary Fund COVID-19 funding has been listed in here. Now, in Uganda, government used the special COVID-19 funding from International Monetary Fund to both foreign reserves and support budget activities. It's according to what is being highlighted into the report. And when I head into the comment section here, somebody here says that don't treat police like a third wheel. Why is he saying that? Well, grab yourself to find out. And no one can single-handedly fight fraud and succeed. One of the writers has written about that. And about Museveni 7.0 compatible or a reboot. Is it a compatible or it's a reboot? So somebody's actually also having a lot of questions here. And still, somebody says that it's families that keep promoting the FGM. Of course, the government innovations have largely failed due to insufficient resources to enforce the laws prohibiting the FGM. And now, the letter of the day, it's about the data privacy. A Ugandan perspective has all been listed here. And skilling refugees, somebody here says that skilling refugees is key when it comes to promoting a sustainable peace and development. That's what he say. You know, he says that it's key to promoting sustainable peace and development, skilling refugees. Yeah, because there are lots of opportunities that they can actually get to engage and promote to the country's economic growth and development. That is if there is transparency and absolute follow-up and policy reforms. You know, that's when it works. In Uganda, it's some sort of a rare aspect to see that, because people that come as refugees, they do come and they start businesses, and everything's actually working out for them. They don't pay taxes, and they kind of outcompete the citizens in the country, you know, if you look at it there. Then somebody says that 5 reasons not to spray the bags in your garden. And now, of course, engaging with nature increases well-being and stimulates learning in children. Now, insects are a fantastic way to engage with nature. That's what something there very interesting. And then the real estate outlook for Uganda in 2025. Now, Uganda's real estate prospects for 2025 appear highly promising, yeah, according to the report, due to several key factors driving the sector's growth. Now, the country's rapid urbanization is creating increasing demand, and that is for both residential and commercial properties. Now, additionally, ongoing infrastructure development, that is including improved transportation networks and utilities, will actually enhance accessibility. That's according to what the report suggests. Okay, now of course what to consider before deciding between tailor-made and ready-made furniture. It has all been listed here, and it's important because it can help you to save unnecessary costs in that. Now, the road to 2026, can the National Resistance Movement recapture Luero MP seats? That is the question here. Now, the opposition politicians have accused the government of neglecting the area in the last 39 years, and now we see that it has been in power. Yet, it was the epicenter of the 5-year guerrilla war that ushered the NRA-NRM into power. That's what has been, observed by the different political experts. And now, still in the regional news, Kikubo Trading Center, where youth queue for employment. Now, leaders say that school dropouts gather at the center waiting for the work opportunities, but the number of the job seekers has grown to about 100 on a daily basis. So that is very absurd when it comes to the employment, Leaders say that dropouts, they gather at a center waiting for work opportunities. The number of job seekers is now growing up to 100. That is in the Kikubo Trading Center, where the youth gather for employment. And why more Ugandans have found solace in solar energy. Now, the National Population Housing Census report of 2024 reveals a broader shift across the country towards clean energy. So there is a lot that has been said here. And issues awaiting Museveni during Busoga region tour. Now, poverty and the appointing sugarcane prices top the agenda of Busoga leaders who want the president to actually address as he remarks, he embarks on a tour for the Sab region that is going to happen today. And Trump, the revolutionary, they say isolationist. Now, America's president describes it with a brand of isolationism that has waxed and wanted throughout the United States history, but it has roots in the 2nd century old. So there is a lot here to also further as you grab yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor. And Mozambique opposition open to serving the government. Now, Mozambique's that is opposition leader has actually expressed willingness to join President Daniel Chapo's government if demands to address post-election grievances, including the release of detainees and the compensation of victims, are made. Now, this is amid the ongoing efforts for political reconciliation that is in the country of Mozambique. And of course, into the world news, inside Putin and of course Xi Jinping talks hours after Donald Trump inauguration. Now, the two leaders share a broad worldview which casts the West as a decadent and in decline. It's just as China challenges the United States supremacy and everything. That's according to what they say. Putin had a discussion with the president of China, as talking about the rivalry that is between the United States of America and actually China. And I won't be shocked because Trump is one person that really focuses on economic prosperity. Is not really somebody that is war-minded. So I don't really expect any tensions between the United States of America and China, and also Russia at the same time. We expect peace as we see that. And well, now switching over to the new vision, as schools get 345 billion for first term, another 374 given to hospitals, And of course, there is a full list of the government released. Now, bank robbery survivor narrates how he joined a gang. He says that his story. And Uganda, Algeria, they boast military ties. Yes, I can say the chief of defense here of the forces of the Ugandan Post Defense Forces, that is General Mahos Kainerugaba, presenting a CDF plague to his Algerian counterpart. So, what does that really mean for Uganda? Because even I remember still last year, early this year, still the general went ahead to join with South Africa, signing an MOU with South Africa when it comes to defense. So now this is Algeria. This is quite a very strategic move, I'll say that. And now NRA's legacy of courage, sacrifice is all being listed here as the writers put it in the story. And study recommends aerobics exercise, that is for the people with HIV. Now the benefits from exercise can actually be released when a person does it consistently at least 3 times a week for 30 minutes, that is per session. That is according to the experts. Now, Acacia Mall shooting survivor narrates for a robbery. Now, he say that most criminal gangs have informers within the banks. That is the absurd thing. Most gangs have informers within the bank, so you need to be careful, especially if you're making huge withdrawals. If they can try to rob a bank, that means, what does it mean when it comes to robbing an individual? So you have to be very careful if you're gonna withdraw large sums of money. Informers in the banks themselves that give you this money will actually be the same people that are going to let the gang members know about where you're heading, and they'll find you. Now, IGG step to verify government workers' wealth. Yeah, the IGG step. So there is a lot that has to be looked into. Remember, the last report clearly says that Uganda loses about 11 trillion annually due to corruption. Now, the Election Commission is to increase the budget for hard-to-reach areas, Now, Michael Bagole warned the election supervisors against stealing election materials such as gadgets, the materials that are going to be used for the elections. Now, government releases 719.9 billion for schools and hospitals. It has all been listed here. The portions, so grab yourself a copy to find out the further aspects in relation to that. And government mods 30,000 jobs plan for the youth in Uganda. I believe that is a very good news. And the Uganda Airlines optimistic about growth. That is because it's been really making a lot of losses. Now, the Uganda Airlines management have expressed confidence in reducing losses further, despite recording a substantial financial setback that was the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Now, according to the latest report by the Auditor General Edward Akol, the airlines loss narrowed by 26%. By 26% from 325 billion in the financial year 2020 to 2023 to 237.8 billion in 2023-2024. So you can see before it was 323, now it's 200. It's 237 billion in 2024-2025 financial year. So what does that mean for the airlines? Since it's about 2 years now, since 2021, actually it's 6 years since it was revived, 6 to 5 years back. Now, Ugandan students shine in continental debate. Congratulations upon that for lifting the flag. And one thing you need to understand is something to do with the talents, is that when you take it so far, a time comes and it's not about you, a time comes when you carry the entire burner of the country, so you're representing the country, you're the ambassador. So it's quite a great responsibility if you to look at it in a sense for that. And now the primary leaving examinations results to be released tomorrow. Now, Odongo revealed that overall performance of the candidates last year is actually better than that of 2023. So, for the whole, for the Vikings that are, waiting to join secondary, that is some good news. So it's like shouldn't be afraid of that. Okay, and over 500 farmers get financial literacy training. Now, according to the World Bank, agriculture is the main source of employment. That is for Uganda, and 500 farmers get financial literacy training. But of course, the challenge is that most of these trainings are not consistent due to some reasons, because it could be funny because you have to facilitate the people that are coming to teach these people. It's in most cases they are done once in a while, and it should be something that is gradual. It could be monthly, it could be weekly. It's more like how most people evade the taxes in Uganda, and the Uganda Revenue Authority, that means, has a big role to frequently teach the traders why they need to pay the taxes. Recently when they were grappling about the efforts, which they hardly understood. Okay, my time is really so fast spent, but if we are to wind up this, from the business side, the government has been urged to allocate 1 trillion for domestic areas clearance. Now, of course, somebody here says that if we had to buy the current allocation, it would actually take an estimated 54 years to fully settle areas depriving, that is the private sector, of liquidity. This is what I said. And now, Stanbic obtains access to unsecured loans for youth and the women. And Entebbe Expressway, government collects about 119 billion in 3 years. Yeah, that is what has been collected, 119 billion so far in 3 years. And Balam welcomes 200 NUP supporters in Chivoga. Now, many say that they have been promised a lot of things during 2021 general elections, but we're now suffering in the dark. They're suffering in the dark. And Kenyans ferried into Uganda to grab land. So that is not a good. That's not good news. And in Kabale, Bishop Ruba Ramira routes for commercialized agriculture. That is in Kabale, and government to buy over 1,200 acres of Bivanja owners. Well, that is it for now. Let's go for the break, and I'll be returning with Caribbean East Africa and what is happening on the international scene. Stick around.